still could have room for one more person.
Okay, you can let me know when to start.
Will do.
Thank you.
Aloha, dear friends. Welcome to the Sunday morning devotional program sponsored by the Spiritual Assemblies of the Baha'is of South DeKalb County and Sandy Springs, Georgia. It's wonderful to have all of you with us today. Across the globe, the teachings of the Baha'i faith, brought to us more than 150 years ago by His Holiness Baha'u'llah, its founder, whose name in Arabic means the glory of God, have inspired and continue to inspire individuals and communities as they strive to improve their own lives and contribute to the advancement of civilization. Baha'i beliefs address such essential themes as the oneness of God and religion, the oneness of humanity and freedom from all forms of prejudice, the inherent nobility of the human being, the progressive revelation of religious truth, a gradual unfolding of God's purpose with the appearance of each divine teacher, the development of spiritual qualities, which allow us to reflect the image God made us in, the integration of worship and service, with work performed in the spirit of service being accounted as worship in the eyes of God, the fundamental equality of the sexes, more widely evidenced in a setting of equal opportunity, the harmony between religion and science as an established fact, the centrality of justice in all human endeavor, the importance of education, particularly for children, and the dynamics of the relationships that bind together individuals, communities, and institutions as humanity advances towards its collective maturity. Again, welcome. We're pleased to have all of you join us. We'll begin with opening devotions. Please mute yourself if you're not speaking, and silence your electronic devices if you are speaking. Thank you.
My speaker was working a minute ago. Now it's not working. Do you know why it stopped working? I don't know. I just
Stephen.
spoke to
Yes.
Stephen and told him, okay, I don't want my picture shown.
Hold on. I just had a little technical difficulty here. I got lost. So I don't know how many
It was
screens
just
I'm
working a
on,
minute ago.
but I'm getting ready to reshare again, and let's see if we're on the same screen.
Okay.
Sorry about this. When I went onto YouTube, everything just shut down on my end. Okay, it looks like we're starting to
Should I go out again and come back
be
in?
on that page again. Okay. Here we go.
So Deborah, if you could mute yourself until it's your turn, if you don't mind. We can still hear you in the background there.
Not hearing anything either.
No. Where's the shoot?
Hold on just one moment, everyone.
Can you mute her, Steve?
I don't have that. I'm not the host. I don't have the authority. I think you do, though.
Okay. I can't now from where I'm at. Okay, first reader.
All right. Elizabeth?
I can't see the whole thing. Let's see. I can't see it.
Okay. Then BB?
I can now.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Say God sufficeth all things, above all things, and nothing in the heavens or in the earth, but God sufficeth. Verily, he is in himself the knower, the sustainer, the omnipotent.
Dorothy?
O my God, O my Lord, O my Master, I beg thee to forgive me for seeking any pleasure save thy love, or any comfort except thy nearness, or any delight besides thy good pleasure, or any existence other than communion with thee. The Bab.
Kathy?
O my God, O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily thou art their helper and their Lord. Baha'u'llah.
Aliyah?
O thou, whose face is the object of my adoration, whose beauty is my sanctuary, whose habitation is my goal, whose praise is my hope, whose providence is my companion, whose love is the cause of my being, whose mention is my solace, whose nearness is my desire, whose presence is my dearest wish and highest aspiration. I entreat thee not to withhold from me the things thou didst ordain for the chosen ones among thy servants. Supply me then with the good of this world and of the next. Thou truly art the King of all men. There is no God but thee, the ever forgiving, the most generous. Baha'u'llah.
Matthew?
O my God, thou seest me in my lowliness and weakness, occupied with the greatest undertaking, determined to raise thy word among the masses and to spread thy teachings among thy peoples. How can I succeed unless thou assist me with the breath of the Holy Spirit? Help me to triumph by the hosts of thy glorious kingdom, and shower upon me thy confirmations, which alone can change a gnat into an eagle, a drop of water into rivers and seas, and an atom into lights and suns. O my Lord, assist me with thy triumphant and effective might, so that my tongue may utter thy praises and attributes among all people, and my soul overflow with the wine of thy love and knowledge. Thou art the omnipotent and the doer of whatsoever thou willest. Abdul Baha.
Sorry, Stephen, I got lost.
That's all right. Would you care to read this one for us?
Yes. O Lord, enable all the peoples of the earth to gain admittance into the paradise of thy faith, so that no created being may remain beyond the bounds of thy good pleasure. From time immemorial, thou hast been potent to do what pleaseth thee, and transcendent above whatsoever thou desirest. The Bab.
Dang Ding?
This is the day in which the testimony of the Lord has been fulfilled, the day in which the word of God has been made manifest. and his evidence firmly established. His voice is calling you unto which that shall profit you, and that enjoins you to observe that which shall draw you nigh unto God and the Lord of revelation. Baha'u'llah.
Micah?
The whole human race is submerged in the sea of the mercy of the Lord. And we are all the sheep of the one divine shepherd. Whatever shortcomings exist among us must be remedied. For example, those who are ignorant must be educated so that they may become wise. The sick must be treated until they recover. Those who are immature must be trained in order to reach maturity. Those asleep must be awakened. All this must be accomplished through love and not through hatred and hostility. Abdul Baha.
Deborah? I'll take this one then. Baha'u'llah has written, "Verily, the words which have descended from the heaven of the will of God are the source of unity and harmony for the world. Close your eyes to racial differences and welcome all with the light of oneness." Thank you to all today's readers. Next, we're going to listen to a healing prayer. If any of you wish to remember a loved one through this prayer for healing, please feel free to call out their name at this time.
Andy Moskowitz.
Bo Henry.
The people of Ukraine.
Thy name is my healing, oh my God, and remembrance of thee is my remedy. Nearness to thee is my hope, and love for thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing, and my succor in both this world and the worlds to come. Thou verily art the all bountiful, the all knowing.
And now we're blessed to have a musical offering.
O Son of Justice, whither can a lover go but to the land of his beloved? And what seeker findeth rest away from his heart's desire? To the true lover, reunion is life, and separation is death. His breast is void of patience, and his heart hath no peace. A myriad lives he would forsake. A myriad lives he would forsake to hasten to the abode, to the abode of his beloved.
Friends, each week we are blessed to have a guest presenter share with us their insights on a particular topic. This week, we're honored to have with us Ms. Sonia Bennett. Sonia became a Baha'i in 1974 when she learned about the faith in Mountain Brook near Birmingham. She is 82 years old, but thinks that she's only 48 years old, as her real life began when she heard the name Baha'u'llah. Her service at the Baha'i World Center was a second birth, and the next place of her service was in our very own South DeKalb, surrounded by many precious friends. She now lives in Fairhope, Alabama, where her 3 children take turns to come and visit her every other month. She will be speaking to us today about prayer and teaching. Friends, please welcome Ms. Sonia Bennett.
Thank you. Greetings and love to all of my wonderful friends and my family who've gathered today for a devotional and a program. I would like to open my talk with a special verse, but before I start, I want to say something really important. This has been the most incredible experience, and I'm so grateful to the Baha'is of South DeKalb for inviting me, because I have learned how much I don't know by doing my research and really studying the effect of this on our lives. And today I'm going to talk about prayer, but first I want to introduce those around me who have helped me. This is, come over here, Carrie Killian and her husband, Lenny Wentworth, and my son, my son in the background, Alex. These are my family and friends. I want to say something really important that I've learned from this. We assume that people who listen to our talks know about the writings or know about the prayers. Today, I'm going to talk about prayer and teaching. And I want to start off by saying that this was one of the most important things that has happened to me this year, because I've, just as I said, learned how much I don't know and how much more I need to know. So I'm going to start talking about prayer with a special verse from Baha'u'llah. Oh, my servants, the one true God is my witness. This most great, this fathomless and surging ocean is near, astonishingly near unto you. Behold, it is closer to you than your life vein. Swift as the twinkling of an eye, you can, if you but wish it, reach and partake of this imperishable favor, this God-given grace, this incorruptible gift, this most potent and unspeakably glorious bounty, Baha'u'llah. And I'm asking, would you not ponder over this verse if you read it for the first time? Is it not an invitation to participate in God's grace and favor? I also want to say we were instructed to begin our day by facing the east and saying 95 times, Allahu Akbar. It is an Arabic phrase meaning God the All-Glorious. It is a form of the greatest name of God. Abdul-Baha maintains that through this invocation of the greatest name, that the doors of the kingdom of God will open. Illumination is vouchsafed and divine union results. The use of the greatest name and dependence on it causes the soul to strip itself of the husks of mortality and to step free, reborn, and a new creature. Another important way to begin your day after the invocations is the morning prayer. I have wakened in thy shelter, O my God, and it becometh him that seeketh that shelter to abide within the sanctuary of thy protection and the stronghold of thy defense. Illumine my inner being, O my Lord, with the splendor of the dayspring of thy revelation, even as thou didst illumine my outer being with the morning light of thy favor. That's from Abdul-Baha. We have a newly declared believer here in Fairhope, Bob Zellner, who says that he cannot imagine not praying this powerful prayer for protection and also guidance from the writings every morning. You might ask yourselves, what is the significance of prayer in your life? And when you pray, are you talking to God? And when you meditate, do you listen to God? This is a special prayer for urgent needs. Oh my God, I beg of thee, by the King of names and maker of heaven and earth, by the rustling of the leaves of the tree of life, and by the utterances through which the reality of all things are drawn to us, to grant me Here you name your supplication or your desire, and then you recite the greatest name 95 times, saying, Ya Allah el Mustago, which means, O God, he who is invoked. This prayer, many of you might not know, was given by Baha'u'llah to Mirza Abul Fazl, who went into exile with a promise that if he would use it at any juncture, help would come. So I think we're all needing this help a lot of times. I want to share how prayer and teachings are part of the same topic. I was studying the life of Martha Root, a great teacher of the faith, and I read that Marcia Gale was in the lobby of a hotel in Belgrade. She looked out the window and saw a small female figure in a dark coat and brown straw hat. Beneath the hat, I saw the line of an indomitable jaw, and I saw that it was Martha Root, intent upon her tasks, isolated, purposeful, and concentrated. Marcia wrote in her diary, Martha's method is straight from the shoulder. She hasn't been with a person 3 minutes before she's giving him a picture, a book, or a pamphlet. She then says to him or her, how do you do? I am here to share with you a picture of Abdul Baha, who loves you very much, and I love you very much. Marcia goes on to say that Martha's day-by-day services carried on for over 20 years of this woman whom the Guardian calls that archetype of Baha'i teacher, the star servant, and foremost hand of the first Baha'i century. She had lunched with Queen Marie of Romania, addressed the Women's Club, spoke at the Theosophists Club, gave a lecture to the Quakers, and spoke in a hall in Vienna, rented for her by a non-Baha'i. And so on and on she traveled. She literally traversed the earth 3 or 4 times. She was not young or strong, not beautiful nor rich. She was alone and more than once in danger. She had begun this journey in response to Abdul Baha's mandate to America in his tablets of the divine plan. Then I want to talk about another book. In reading from vignettes of the life of Abdul Baha, first published by Anna Marie Honold in November 1982, she shares many beautiful accounts of the master. I want to paraphrase this one. On page 110, a woman visited the master in Haifa in May of 1910, who tells him that she has many, many sorrows. She is really suffering. He told her to forget them, and that when her heart was filled with the love of God, there will be no room for sorrow. There will only be love and happiness. In his great eagerness to make others happy, free of anxiety, frustration, and grief, Abdul Baha left many prayers for our use. The following prayer is one of the most dearly loved. It's on page 114. This will be a challenge for some because it has not been authenticated that it's Abdul Baha's prayer, but many of us think that it is. So the prayer, O God, refresh and gladden my spirit, purify my heart, illumine my powers. I lay all my affairs in thy hand, thou art my guide and my refuge. I will no longer be sorrowful and grieved. I will be a happy and joyful being. O God, I will no longer be full of anxiety, nor will I let trouble harass me. I will not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. O God, thou art more friend to me than I am to myself. I dedicate myself to thee, O Lord. That's also in Star of the West. We have some very, very wonderful, a new Baha'i and another friend of the faith who pray this prayer every single day. They both have cancer. So I love it that we have shared that with them. Another inspiration that he often said to friends, Abdu'l-Baha said, was that service was an honor, joy, and fulfillment. He often said, where there is love, there's always time, and nothing is too much trouble. I want all of you to close your eyes and say that to yourself. Where there is love, there's always time, and nothing is too much trouble. According to the Talmud, I'm going to read this, and my son Alex learned this from a Buddhist monk, Haeman Sunam, from South Korea. And so Alex was online and learned this. According to the Talmud, every blade of grass has its angel who bends over it and whispers, grow, grow. If even a blade of grass has an angel, wouldn't each of us as well? If you feel lonely, think of the angel on your shoulder and be grateful that you are cared for. So I want you to whisper right now in your heart, grow, grow. Another prayer, speaking of care, Abdu'l-Baha says, he is God. O thou who seekest after the kingdom, be hopeful of the favors of thy Lord, and despair not of the severe calamities of this world. Praise be to God that thou dost have a kind Lord who healeth every sick one and showeth compassion. He is the refuge of the orphan and the helper to those who have no one. Infinitely loving is he. Shouldst thou know how kind and tender is the heart of Abdu'l-Baha? So intense would thy joy and gladness be that thou would surely take flight, and thy cry of, oh, how blessed am I, would reach the pinnacle of the heavens. So close your eyes again and say to yourself, oh, how blessed am I, because that will reach the pinnacle of heaven. Baha'u'llah says, the world passeth away, and that which is everlasting is the love of God. From 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 7 in the Holy Bible, love is patient, love is kind, it bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. In sharing the teachings of the Baha'i faith, I would encourage each one of us to incorporate film, music, art, and literature in our meetings and fireside talks. Annie was telling me about the exemplar, Annie Janis, who's online, was telling me about the film, The Exemplar, the film commissioned by the Universal House of Justice to mark the commemoration of the passing of Abdu'l-Baha. It was released recently on Baha'i.org, but you also can see it on YouTube. Friends, this is a glorious and profound film on the unique Abdu'l-Baha's unique functions as a shelter, a shield, and a stronghold from all humanity. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't. One of my favorite performers is Luke Slott from Dublin, Ireland. He's a composer, a musician, plays piano, guitar, and trumpet, not to mention his beautiful singing voice. Wings to the Spirit, which I'm a member of, our board, sponsored by Kim and Julian McQueen, and invited Luke to travel in the United States and spread his gift of teaching through his music. Many of the friends in Pensacola donated so that Luke had the funds he needed to travel. His recent CD, Gate of Heaven, has the most inspiring first song, Promised One, which I used in a Ruhi class. Would you like to hear it now? Alex, can you turn it up?
I am the mystic flame which the hand of omnipotent hath reared. I am the lamb which the finger of God hath lit within its need and caused to shine with deathless splendor. I am the flame of that supernal light that glowed upon Sinai in the gladsome spot and lay concealed in the midst of the burning bush. I am the promised one. 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 I am the one whose name you have for 1,000 years invoked, at whose mention you have risen, whose advent you have longed to witness. In the hour of whose revelation you have prayed God to hasten. I am the promised one. I am the promised one. I am the promised
Thank you, Alex. I think Luke's work is just incredible. Also, the Tablet of Ahmad is the 9th song on the album from Baha'u'llah's writings. The book Meditations on the Blessed Beauty, the centenary edition from 1992, has incredible illustrations from Mark Sedan's photography to illustrate the prayers and verses from our faith. And also, Jeff Strife, you all know Jeff and Sarah Strife, has shared with our Baha'i community in Fairhope many copies of his Golden Rule card, which are a wonderful way to mention the faith, as almost everyone you meet is familiar with the Golden Rule. Many of you have heard of the first Baha'i to the South, Paul Kingston Deely, and his wife Adelaide. Did you know that we have in our community 4 generations of the Deely family? If you want to read a powerful story, then read the life of Paul Kingston Deely and his family. Abdul Baha sent beautiful rings to Paul Kingston Deely, to Fairhope, to Adelaide, his wife, and to Paul Deely from Haifa, Israel in the late 1900s. National wanted Paul Deely's journal for the archives in Chicago, and the McQueens flew us to meet with Ken Bauer and his lovely wife, who honored us with a Persian feast. Nancy Jennings, the great-granddaughter of Paul Deely, and I were invited by the former mayor of Fairhope, Karen Wilson, to come to their bookstore, Page and Palette, and sit in an advice booth, just like the one Lucy and Linus had in the cartoon Peanuts. This is proven to be a great way to share the faith as we use the beautiful virtue cards from the Virtue Project. And we have each visitor to the booth draw a card. They start out thinking this is going to be a joke, friends. And then when they read their beautiful virtue card, they want a picture taken of them holding their card. And then they ask us for advice. And Nancy and I pray that we will be able to convey spiritual guidance when we answer their questions. Now, the last thing that I want to share is, okay, I've got it here, a teaching prayer. And I hope this is not sacrilegious. I want it to be a different perspective. I want you to think of this as a job application. You're applying for a job. So you start out saying, oh my God, I'm a servant attracted to thee, drawing near to the door of thy oneness and supplicating the kingdom of thy mercy. That's how you start out. So you're applying for the job. So you say, oh my God, permit me to be entirely thine, occupied only with thoughts of thee, inflamed by the fire of thy love, and separated from all except thee, so that I may work in thy cause, spread thy wisdom, transmit knowledge, and impart the joy of knowing thee. Okay, you still haven't gotten the job. So then you pull out all stops and you say, oh my God, I'm a flame lighted by the hands of thy power. Let not that flame be quenched by the winds of trials. Increase my love for thee, my ardor for the beauty of thy oneness. Kindle the fire that burns in me in the Sinai of thy singleness, and awaken the eternal life that is latent in me through thy bounty and grace. Hopefully by now you've gotten the job. It ends with thou art the protector, the watcher, the compassionate, and the merciful. This beautiful teaching prayer from Abdul Baha. So that concludes my talk, unless there are questions.
Are there any thoughts or questions anyone wants to share? I want to thank you personally for a very impassioned talk. I could feel, the strength of your feeling through your voice. It was very powerful.
Thank you so much. It was such a great opportunity, I said to you, to learn how much I don't know and to really throw myself into the writings. You know, we're using the Ruhi books, which are on teaching and prayer. You know that. And a lot of the friends that are in these classes are asking a lot of questions, and it helps to have information. You know, when you're one of the teachers of the Ruhi book, you're not considered above anyone. We're all on the same level. So again, I want to thank you for inviting me. It was a wonderful experience.
Thank you, Sonia. Beautiful and wonderful, interested talk. I really like your talk, especially when you said, when our heart is full of joy, there is no place for sorrow. I like that. And also where you're talking about the world passeth away, and that which is everlasting is the love of God. And love is patient, love is time. That is true. Thank you so much. I really enjoy your talk.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question? That prayer, that teaching prayer that you said about just a minute ago, where can I find that?
It's from Abdul Baha, and I think that Annie Janice sent it to me. So Annie and Micah may know where it is. It is one of the most beautiful prayers that I have read, and it was just luminous to me. So maybe Annie and Micah can tell us where that prayer is found.
Yeah.
I'll try to find it, Matthew, and send it to you. Thank you, Sonia. That was just a beautiful talk. I love it. Love your spirit.
Well, if you really love me, you will move back to Fairhope.
If you love her, she will come back to South DeKalb.
That's pretty strong persuasion. Thank you all. You heard that, Sonia, right? You're coming back to South DeKalb.
Well, they would have to provide me with a cottage.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Sonia, I want to thank you for your presentation. All of the prayers are beautiful, as you know, they're revealed by some by the Baha'u'llah and Abdul Baha. But a great pick-me-up for me, Oh God, Refresh and Glad My Spirit by Abdul Baha.
Yes.
Yeah, I find it as a great pick-me-up when I'm down. That is very helpful for me. So thank you for sharing that also.
Thank you so much. I wanted to mention about that prayer that we make copies and sometimes we give it out in the advice booth, and we cannot say that it's authenticated yet by Abdul Baha, but many of us believe that it is. And people that read that prayer then want to come hear about the faith. So we use it many times.
Right. It's in the prayer books, though. That
Yes,
prayer is in the prayer books.
Yes, it's in many of the prayer books. The newer ones aren't producing
Yeah.
it because they can't find the authentication, but I think it's from Abdul Baha. Who else could say a prayer like that? You know? Thank you.
Thanks.
All
Any
right.
thoughts or questions?
I just want to thank Sonia for the beautiful presentation. And I also love how you incorporate the music, like the song you played for us. That was beautiful, very touching. And I also find the way you explain those prayers, like the last one, you say it's like a job application. That's a very vivid kind of image there. I was like, hopefully I'll get the job. So thank you very much.
I would say that I would hire you in a minute. You need to move to Fairhope.
Okay. We would love to, right, darling, Stephen?
We had to move somewhere at any rate.
we would want to move anywhere. So right now, so
Oh, precious. Thank you, dear friend.
thank you.
Hi, Sonia. It's so good to see your beautiful face and experience your warm spirit. I'm washing dishes and listening at the same time. But I just, I don't know if everybody on the line knows Sonia, but I just was wondering if you could just share a little bit about the time that you served in South DeKalb and what that was like for you.
Well, it was an incredible experience. It changed my life. I had come from such a sorrowful time going through a painful divorce. And I remember when I first interviewed, they weren't sure they wanted a woman because they had had all men, but the men didn't last that long. And so I said, give me a trial. And so they did. And what I said to the friends was, if you come every Tuesday, I will feed you a large meal and we will share the work. And so we had right away like a dozen people, and then it grew to like 17. I couldn't afford to feed everybody, but they worked on the grounds, they vacuumed the building. There was such a spirit of love and enthusiasm. And I have never forgotten how much the friends mean to me from DeKalb County. I just love all of you. I couldn't begin to remember names, but just know that it changed my life.
And I remember those Tuesdays. It was very special to me too. I remember my dad and I, who passed a few years ago now, shared in that responsibility of being there on those Tuesdays. So thank you for reminding me of that. And it's just so wonderful to see you and hear your voice.
Thank you so much. You know, many of you don't know the story, but when I knew I could no longer work because I had injured my knees in Haifa, Israel, and a dear friend, Fafar Gillibo, told me to pray for guidance because I didn't want to leave the center. I didn't have money to live anywhere else. And so I prayed, and that night I was in a dark room and I saw a light in the corner of the room and it said, "Joy is coming." And I woke up and I thought, did I dream that or did I really see that? So I told Fafar and she said, that's God speaking. That's how God speaks to us in dreams and thoughts like that. And 2 days later, Kim McQueen from Fairhope called me and she said, Sonia, dear, I don't want to upset the South DeKalb friends. I know they love you, but would you like to come to Fairhope and live in our cottage? And I said, oh, Kim, I can't afford anything. I'm living on my social, which wasn't very much. And she said, no, you can live a year rent-free. So Fafar and I drove to Fairhope, to this cottage that I'm in today. And it was full of sheetrock dust. And Kim had suggested we stay in a little hotel nearby, but we slept on the twin beds in the sheetrock room where there was dust. And later, Julian invited us to come over for supper, I think the next day or that night. And we're sitting around the table with Julian and Kim. And I tell the story about being in the dark room and joy is coming. And Julian starts laughing and he said, Kim's middle name is Joy. So I love that story. And I have been here now for 17 years, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Aloha, Sonia. This is Barbara. I'm walking in your footsteps. Thank you for paving the way to give the LSA insight to rely on us women, you know, because and my life story kind of, you know, mirrors yours, you know, of how this position of caretaker came to being for me. So I'm just sitting here. I was just listening to you, you know, the prayers and whatnot. And your spirit is like a kindred spirit within me. It just really soothed me.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, I'm so honored to get the first time of seeing you. You know, I've heard so much about you, and thanks for all you've done.
Thank you, dear Barbara. I know what a huge job it is. And I encourage the friends to really support her in that work. It is a big job. I know that.
Thank you.
How long did you serve? I couldn't remember exactly how long you served in South DeKalb.
It was almost 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts or questions? Well, if not, then let us once again thank our wonderful speaker, and we'll wrap up for today. I have a few announcements I have to make. Today's program has been recorded and posted to the YouTube channel entitled South DeKalb Baha'i Unity Center, where you can view it and invite others to view it as well. For members of the Baha'i faith, you are warmly encouraged to make a financial contribution to the South DeKalb Baha'i Fund, the Sandy Springs Baha'i Fund, and the National Baha'i Fund through the online contribution system at ocs.baha'i.us, or to mail a check to the Baha'i Unity Center at 2370 Wesley Chapel Road, Decatur, Georgia, 30035. So we want to give our thanks to everyone who worked together to make today's program possible, our wonderful speaker, our volunteer readers, Barbara Hennix, without whom this just wouldn't keep going, the spiritual assemblies of the Baha'is of South DeKalb and Sandy Springs, and of course, a thank you to everyone who's been here and shared your morning with us. So I'm Stephen Boyanton, and until next time, stay safe and well. We're going to end now with a closing prayer for the departed. Is there anyone who would care to read one for us?
I can do that.
Thank you, Bibi.
Oh my God, O thou forgiver of sins, bestower of gifts, dispeller of afflictions, verily I beseech thee to forgive the sins of such as have abandoned the physical garment and have ascended to the spiritual world, O my Lord. Purify them from trespasses, dispel their sorrows, and change their darkness into light. Cause them to enter into the garden of happiness. Cleanse them with the most pure water, and grant them to behold thy splendors on the loftiest mount. Abdul Baha.
Thank you, everyone. Aloha pa.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody.
Alea,
Yeah.
Alea, could you stay on?
Okay, I sure will. Mhm. Barbara, I can call you if you like.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Hey, aloha pa.
Aloha pa.
Aloha. Good to see everyone.